Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome out tonight. Welcome out to tonight's Thursday night webinar. We love doing these webinars. By the way, this is Ferre speaking right now. I'm here with Stephen Swenson. We love doing these webinars, which we do free every, I don't know, several times a year. Yeah, we've got a lot of you out tonight. So we're happy to have you, and we appreciate the time you're going to spend with us.
Yeah. Today we want to talk about tax lien investing. Next month, we do these about every 30 days or so. Next month, we're going to talk about tax deeds, but there's a lot of auctions coming up that we want to go over and review.
Yeah. Now, we actually realized right about the time we were uploading this, that we forgot to include any kind of a page about us for anybody here. That if you don't know anything about Steve and I, just the short of it is we're cousins. We basically got into tax sale investing together, over 20 years ago, and started tax sale support, about 7 years ago now.
Yeah, and about 10 years before that, or I guess a decade before that, we spent working with seminar companies, and essentially kind of quit working with them and started just offering our membership directly to the public.
Yeah. So we've been doing that really ever since. So anyhow, you'll basically be able to see a lot of what we're going to be doing, because we'll probably use tax sale support. We'll probably use our membership website, to navigate some of this stuff, just because it's going to be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, what we want to do is give you guys a pretty quick overview of what is tax lien investing, how can you do it, and then actually go and look at some upcoming online auctions.
Yeah, that's what we enjoy doing the most is, we cover some slides here as fast as we can, and then we'd really rather go and look at some of the different liens so that we can look at them and, see some of the inventory that's out there, look at it, tell you if it's good or if it's bad, and why.
Yeah, before we get to the dessert, we're going to go ahead and get through the meat and potatoes, and that's kind of what is tax lien investors. Why do investors buy tax liens? Well, most of us do it to earn a good interest rate return.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of reasons why. They're very safe investments, secure investments that offer a good rate of return. They're which is more security than you get with most investments, really. With how they're set up.
Yeah, they're enforced by state law. Most of the time, a tax lien is going to redeem, which means we get back our money in an interest rate return.
Also makes it a very simple investment, when you do buy them. So most of the time you're just going to get a check in the mail is really what will happen. We'll talk about exactly how that works here real quick. So part of this, though, is in understanding exactly how liens work, what they are. Liens are a type of legal claim, or legal action. It's a legal claim that is placed against real property. In this case, because of some kind of an unpaid debt, or compensation that's owed. The main things to know about a lien, though, is that the power of the lien is in preventing the transfer of ownership. So as long as that lien's there, it's kind of like trying to sell your car, if it has, if you've got a loan on it, and that the title is basically not held by you.
Yeah, excluding a mechanic's lien, most tax liens are going to be issued by government authorities. So that could be a state, federal. It could be city,
and
something
even
like
the mechanics ones are ultimately kind of issued by the county.
Yeah, but that's kind of what separates a lien from a judgment, though, is that it's usually going to be government related.
Yeah. Now, basically, the main deal, those are other types of liens, but tax liens are what we're focused on here, and a few of the basics is so tax lien sales are, tax liens are something that are offered annually, once a year. Whereas if we're dealing with tax deeds, they can be sold throughout the year. Liens are different. That's where you have one lien that's offered a year, one sale a year, and it's generally going to be the tax collector, the treasurer that's conducting this sale. And there are some online auctions, though, but the redemption periods and the interest rates, or the maximum interest rates, that you can earn, the parameters of it, are things that are set in state law. So, it's ultimately, determined by what state law says, which is also kind of what determines which states actually use liens like this.
Yeah, well, and when we talk about tax liens, they're usually going to be sold once a year.
Yeah. So the idea here is pretty simple though. Property taxes are one of the bills that the county has going out. It's usually most counties' primary source of revenue. The county certainly has, or even the city, it all depends on whoever the taxing authority is here. They're generally the ones that are providing a lot of the services. So, once the county issues the sale, their whole purpose for creating a lien in the first place is really just so that they can collect the money that is owed to them now. That's kind of the only thing that they're really after in this, is to try to collect the taxes that should have already been paid.
Yeah, well, and these taxes go to pay for so much of the actual utilities and services that we used: fire, police, school. Most of this comes from property taxes.
Yeah. So, they basically have to have a way to enforce, that whole system. And liens are a way to do that without, kind of losing your property, immediately. You can have a lien placed against your property, but you don't have any immediate risk or fear of losing the property, like you may have, I'm sure, property tax systems in the past, if you were late. With lien, the property owner would have a set time period where they could be sure that nothing was going to happen. So, and the way they do that is through redemption periods and interest rate, returns. And those are both things that are going to be set in state laws. So the redemption period, though, ultimately is like it is, I don't know what you would call it.
It's just the time frame that the property owner has to repay the debt.
Yeah, and the time frame that the lien holder has to wait before they can use the lien to foreclose.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of gives the property owner a deadline to have that paid. If they don't pay, then that lien holder can go ahead and foreclose on their property. But like Shade said, it's important to remember that the state will determine the redemption period. It can range from 1 to 4 years. They're also going to determine the interest rate return, and that's usually going to be earned on a yearly basis. So if we're talking about Florida, for example, 18%, that means that you're going to earn 1.5% per month. So if the property owner was to go ahead and repay after 6 months, you're not going to earn 18%. You're going to earn half of that.
Yeah, 9%. So, yeah, and there are actually some states that also offer early payoff penalties, which is a flat rate or a minimum rate that you're going to earn. For instance, you might earn a minimum of 5% on liens that redeem early, so that basically it's an incentive, to draw in investors so they don't get stuck with liens that redeem quickly after and they don't earn anything on it.
Yeah, in fact, purchasing a tax lien was me and Shade's very first investment. We, 20 years ago or so, we headed up to Wyoming and attended a live tax lien auction. And, we ended up buying a couple of cheap liens. I think Shade's, I can't remember what yours, mine was about 120, 130, something like that.
Yeah, 60, 67 bucks.
Yeah, and then we also got a pretty nice $2,000 lien on a single family home as well. But essentially that was our first opportunity in attending one of these auctions.
Yeah, so as the lien holder, though, that redemption period also kind of acts like the time period. It could be the duration of the investment. So that's one thing to keep in mind too, is that it's not really a short-term investment, but it's also, you can't really control it. You just don't really have any control over what happens. So that represents the time period that you could potentially have to wait.
Yeah, this is just one of our testimonials from one of our students, Randy and Kathy, who ended up buying some tax liens, spent $4,300. They ended up redeeming, and they ended up making $450 profit off of that $4,300, really just kind of sitting back and waiting until the check came, or in many cases now it could even be direct deposit.
Yeah, and most important for them was just kind of going through the experience and seeing the process work, where they buy a lien, they see it redeem, and understand the process better. But liens are actually really easy to invest in, for the most part, or they're supposed to be easy to invest in. They're not the kind of thing, they're not quite like real estate where you have to put in that same level of research.
Yeah, definitely a lot easier than tax deeds.
You know, we've actually had a student too that's foreclosed on liens too.
Yeah.
You know, recently. But
Yeah.
we should probably explain this cycle though, and kind of what happens with liens once they're issued.
Yeah, really three things are going to happen on the day of the sale. First thing is a tax lien is going to be issued. Second, it's going to be start earning interest. And third, that redemption period will actually begin.
Yeah, so all that begins. Even if the tax lien wasn't purchased at the sale, you know, that stuff would all happen anyway. So once the sale happens though, really it all comes down to the property owner and whether they're paying off their tax bill or not, and if that redemption period comes to an end. You know, but really what it comes down to is two potential scenarios: either redemption or foreclosure. You know, is what it really is.
Yeah, so for that first option, this is what is going to happen most of the time. The property owner is going to go ahead and pay back the debt, which the county is going to go ahead and cut you a check, and you're going to earn your money plus your interest rate return.
Yeah, really simple and easy, and everybody kind of wins here when this happens because the county has the money they need to operate. Property owner, you know, is able to just kind of pay some late fees, and the investor was able to get some, you know, a good investment opportunity.
Yeah, so that's going to result 95% of the time in just financial return, checks in the mail, or through some type of direct deposit. You're just getting your money back and you're earning a safe interest rate return. And then you can put that into more tax lien certificates.
Yeah, now, like we said, redemption is what normally happens with liens. You know, liens normally redeem at some point during that redemption period because people don't want to lose their property to foreclosure, you know, and so most people will, you know, people are late with their property with bills though all the time. So it's not unusual, you know, to have liens against a property, but it is unusual to have properties end up resulting in foreclosure. You know, that doesn't happen all the time. But if that redemption period expires though, then the lien holder has the legal right, you know, to use the lien to, to begin foreclosing on the property. And what will happen there is you know, it'll either get redeemed at that point during foreclosure, or you know, the lien holder will foreclosing on the property and acquiring it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in that kind of situation, you can actually acquire the property. Here's a couple of properties that were picked up through Tax Deed Foreclosure in Colorado. You can see that top property had a lien total of just about 10 grand in back taxes. The property below had about $30,000, but you know, they're valued between $300,000 and $650,000 on these properties. Now, there's going to be additional cost in foreclosure as well. There could be attorney fees. Maybe there's an extra $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in attorney fees to be able to handle that. But still, you know, you're acquiring this property for literally, in this case, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. In fact, you know, exactly how you have to go about foreclosure kind of varies a little bit depending on the state. There are some states that make it really easy and they will do it almost for you, and then there are other states where you pretty much have to hire an attorney and you know, take the property through foreclosure.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to buying tax liens, there's really three ways we can do it. We can either do it at a live on-site auction, through some type of online auction, or over the counter.
Yeah, live auctions, you know, online auctions are becoming more popular, but there are still lots and lots of live auctions that take place. In fact, there's a good chance that you live close to or within proximity of places where live auctions are happening.
Yeah, there's still quite a few states that still do this. And the advantage of attending some type of live auction or on-site auction is that you're really going to be competing with just the local competition. So you're going to have a better chance of getting a higher interest rate, having a chance to getting more tax liens. So they can be very beneficial in attending.
Yeah. So yeah, I think anytime you get a chance to attend one of those, I would agree too that it's going to be a good idea for you to do that. You know, lots of advantages there to attending live auctions. And here are some examples of, you know, some tax lien examples that some of our members purchased. Yeah, were these in Nebraska?
Yeah, I believe so. You know, and so essentially you can see these aren't necessarily the most sexy type of properties in the world, but in this case, they ended up purchasing them over the counter. But Nebraska has both on-site and online auctions that you can attend. But when you do attend something like an on-site auction, there is that good opportunity to be able to pick up several tax liens and not have the competition that you would in an online setting.
Yeah. Now, from investors' perspective, these are very attractive liens, and part of the reason for that and why I say that is because the price that they've paid, for the lien is always a very small, tiny percentage of what the property's value is. I mean, in a lot of these cases, they're paying less than 1%, or a little bit over 1%, but not very much. We're talking about between like 1% and 2% in almost all of these.
Yeah, for sure.
So very low amounts, and what that means for you as the investor. Again, most of the time these end up just redeeming, and so what you want to do is, because you can't predict which ones are going to redeem and which ones are going to end up in foreclosure, you just have to pick out good ones, with all of the properties you buy, and then if you can foreclose on one, then it should be a home run.
Yeah, kind of the key to attending an on-site auction is just come prepared, do your due diligence beforehand, and also have an idea of what you're willing to essentially bid down to, bid
set
up
limits.
to.
Yeah, set your limits ahead of time so that you don't allow yourself, to get into the auction and either pay too much or accept too low of a rate of return.
Yeah, in fact, sometimes we've seen live auctions where the bidding will be aggressive at the beginning part of the auction, and then as the auction goes on, it becomes less competitive as the auction goes on.
Yeah, there's a lot of different strategies that you can try to employ, when you're dealing with auctions, especially if there's a lot of liens that are being offered, because the amount of competition you're dealing with, can vary from property to property and over the course of the auction. So, online auctions are, something that we've started to see about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So.
and really kind of even picked up since the pandemic. There's going to be a lot of different areas that have online auctions over the next 30 to 120 days.
Yeah, in fact, that's what we're going to go and look at.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in just a second here. We're going to go and look at several of these online auctions that are happening because the tax lien season is just about to, it's basically lighting off right now, setting off.
Yeah, for sure.
So here are a couple other examples.
Yeah, these are just a couple of examples of tax liens that were picked up through an online auction.
Yeah, so you can see that in both cases, lien amounts $3,000, $8,000. The property values are very high, and so these are liens that are they're going to redeem. And so what's pretty good there is the rate of returns in both cases. That's pretty decent.
Yeah, it really got pretty good, and you can see those same type of tax liens that'll bid down to 3%. It really what we're kind of looking for, and we have different strategies that we teach with our members in how to kind of find the very best tax liens, whether it be through an online auction or over the counter.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of times people are, they do get focused on, they get tunnel vision on the same properties. Sometimes people do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if they're looking for single family homes or things like that.
Well, and when it comes to a couple tips with online auctions, many times they were going to require about a 10% deposit. So it may not be a huge deposit. So instead of putting all of your eggs into one basket, for example, like Arizona tax liens coming up, maybe you end up participating in 2 or 3 auctions.
Yeah, it is a numbers game, where you've got to give yourself the chances, to kind of at bats. You've got to give yourself the opportunity. Over the counter, though, is the third way that you can buy, and that is, any tax liens that aren't purchased, at the auction just end up going on to the books of the county, and they basically sit there and investors can purchase them. So you can find the liens afterwards and buy them for the what's owed there on it at the time. And one thing that's also interesting about that is that the redemption period still starts on the date of the auction if nobody buys it still. So there is time that has elapsed into the redemption period when you purchase it.
Yeah, kind of like the examples that we showed from Nebraska. Those tax liens were purchased after the redemption period, and
Yeah, over the counter.
Yeah, and could be foreclosed on in a shorter period of time.
Yeah, one of the benefits of being able to buy a tax lien over the counter is that when state law sets the interest rate return that the investor is going to earn, they usually set a range, and a maximum. And when you buy over the counter, you automatically get the default, maximum rate of return. So that's one of the benefits is being able to make the maximum rate of return on it without, competing with somebody directly. But the downside is that the best liens are probably going to be sold at auction, and so you might not be dealing with some of the best liens in some of the over-the-counter lists.
Yeah, well, it's really going to depend, to a degree, if it's an on-site or an online auction.
Yeah.
Because many times the on-site auctions can have a lot of good over-the-counter tax liens. In fact, that's one of the strategies that we implement with our students and our coaching members is, focusing on tax liens directly after the auction. So, within the first week of Florida counties putting out their over-the-counter list, any of the good tax liens that could be left over on that list are going to get picked up. So we're going to focus on that very quickly, shortly after the sale to try to get any good tax liens that may have missed the regular auction.
Yeah. Now, some other things about, over-the-counter investing. You can buy liens, and target properties, with the intention of hoping to foreclose on them. It can be a strategy that you can kind of utilize to try to pursue properties, but most of the time, though, if people are interested in properties, we just tell them to pursue deeds so they don't have to wait so long to try to get them.
Yeah, definitely. There's good over-the-counter states that you can focus on, Nebraska, South Carolina, that have tax liens you can pick up over the counter that still are earning a decent interest rate return that are profitable.
Yeah. Florida has some over-the-counter liens there. They also have they've got outside of that time period when you can get the good liens. Florida has a lot of garbage liens too that are still on the books sometimes after everything's been picked through.
Yeah, they definitely need to research into what's called the roll-up, where that essentially what that means is any additional back taxes that could be on the property.
Well, yeah, really. If we get the chance to foreclose on the property, so let's say that we wait out that 3-year redemption period, and it still hasn't redeemed, so we start foreclosing on it. What's going to happen is we purchased one of those liens, but it's been 3 years, and so for the subsequent liens, in some cases the counties will give the first lien holder the opportunity to buy subsequent liens, but it's always going to be optional whether or not you buy that or so they could very well just hold the sale the next year and sell the additional liens. So when we need to foreclose, the county's going to say, okay, well, in order to transfer ownership here and foreclose on the property, the taxes have to be current. And so that means we're going to have to pay off the tax bill. And so if we didn't buy those other liens, then we would have to pay for them when we went to foreclose on the property. If we had bought them, then we essentially would have already paid for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and one thing about Florida, and one thing we've done in the years past is focus on counties that didn't have online auctions. Now that's becoming each year, that's less and less counties. There used to be 30 counties, now 20 counties, 15 counties, 10 counties. But that's something that we'll focus because it's not going to have the same competition as necessarily an online auction.
Yeah. So here's just a few other examples here. We're just about actually through our slides here, and so that we can go and show you guys some examples. But just also to know, it's always really easy, to get enrolled on the online auctions if you haven't participated before. It's easy to do with the onlines, but one thing to keep in mind is that the only real requirement you're going to have is you're going to need to to fill out their W-9 form here. So you'll need to be able to provide either a social security number or a tax ID. If you're starting a new business entity, you should have some kind of a tax ID or something that you can use there, or you can buy properties under just personally.
Yeah, it's kind of three important things, the W-9, the bidder agreement, and you're also going to need to put down a deposit. Now, usually the deposit is going to be about 10% of the total amount that you plan on spending. So if you plan on spending 10 grand, that would be, $1,000.
Yeah. So yeah, those are some of the main things that we look for with sales, is just paying attention to the dates of the deposits are due by, so that you don't miss that. And yeah, then also doing your deposit based on about how much you're looking to invest.
Yeah, so once we've done our paperwork, really at that point, we can go ahead and log in and start bidding on potential tax liens.
Yeah. All right. So let's go. Let's do this. Okay. Let me get this set up here. Oh yeah, so one of the questions we had, is do these auctions have multifamily properties as well as single family? Yeah, when you're dealing with tax lien sales, you're dealing with every kind of property that exists within the county, and so we'll actually see a pretty broad range. We'll see properties that are, we'll see commercial properties, land, lots of single family homes.
Yeah, you're gonna see.
In fact, we'll look at some.
You're gonna see about every type of property that you can imagine come up to a tax sale. It's going to depend on the auction, how, what percentage of property, what percentage of single family homes versus land versus commercial. But there's going to be every type of property you can imagine.
Yeah, so this is our membership website, taxsalesupport.com. So it has lists and it does training stuff. But in this case, we're going to be looking or using the lists here. So if we're looking at some online auctions, which we're going to be looking at some tax lien online auctions. So we can start out here.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to click like Shay did and start going through some of the upcoming tax lien online auctions. Now we can see that Alabama has auctions coming up in May. So, that won't be for a few more months, but they'll have their tax sales. But we know that Arizona is coming up here within just a few days.
Yeah. In fact, we've got several auctions that that are coming up in Arizona, either on the 2nd of February or on the 8th, or 9th. Which county should we check out?
Well, everyone, is going to be pretty familiar with Maricopa or at least the Phoenix area. So let's go ahead and click on that one to begin with.
Okay, so from here, we're looking at the online auction page. So Real Auction is the name of the company that provides these. At least I think this particular one, where it's a website that's set up just for Maricopa County. So from here we can access their inventory.
Yeah, and if we wanted to go ahead and get registered, we could go ahead and do that just by clicking logging in and getting set up.
Yeah, our bidding rules would tell us all some of the details about what anything we need to have. If we want to look at liens.
In fact, that's one thing to quickly mention is that Real Auction has practice sites with each one of the different states that they incorporate.
Oh yeah.
So you could go ahead and practice the auction if you wanted. They have all kinds of training information to help you understand how to use their website. Yeah. But it really is pretty easy. Let's just go ahead and click on preview items for sale and start looking at some of the taxing certificates that are available.
All right, so let me enlarge this a bit. Okay. So what we can see here, we've got the tax year available, the parcel ID, face amount, and then the status on it, as well as the, I guess probably the sale number. And so, let's see, like I said, they're all going to be probably pretty good.
Yeah, go ahead and click on any of them.
All right, well, here is for $1,500. Let's see what the first one is here.
Well, and you can already see which ones are already starting to pay off.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is $1,500, and let's see what it is. It has has an address, right here. So I can actually click on that just to pull it up on in the parcel map. If we wanted to do that here, I just copy that. for now. And then we can see that the current owner bought it in 2009 for $211,000. So it sounds like it's probably a single family home.
Yeah, so we keep scrolling down. That'll give us a better idea as we start looking into the value a little bit.
Yeah, and yeah, here we can see.
See, it's a single family residence, has a cash value of $299,000. As we scroll down, we'll get into more property details.
Built in 2006.
Yep, it looks like it's 3,400 square feet. So we're talking about a pretty good size home. It's newer. As we continue to scroll down, there could even be additional information like the building outline or the kind of the blueprint, similar parcels.
Yeah, here's comps.
Exactly.
So if we were looking to buy a property and looking for comps, this would be an easy place.
And also, there's different maps right there, different things you can click on throughout there as well. So there's quite a lot of information. As we're looking over this property, just based off of the amount that the tax lien is, we're already feeling pretty comfortable in investing into this tax lien certificate. Now we may go ahead and look it up on Google Maps, check it on Zillow, but we're not going to do a huge amount of research into it because it's not like you're buying the property. We're really just, willing to take on the debt of the taxes on this property.
Yeah. Again, chances are it's just going to redeem. There's not really the need, because we're not buying the property itself. We don't have to perform the same kind of research. So, if we were looking at this lien, literally, we could probably make the decision to buy it within a few seconds of, seeing exactly what it is.
Yeah, definitely within a couple of minutes at the very longest.
Yeah. So here we can see, overhead image of what the property is. The value on it's probably.
No, but it's a lot higher than the market.
Yeah.
Or the county, I would imagine. Let's see.
Yeah, 540,000 versus their 299.
Yeah, exactly. So is your money protected? Yeah, it's definitely protected.
Yeah. In fact, this is only a $1,500 lien. So, your money is incredibly, this is the one we're talking about right here. Yeah. So that amount, I don't know what $1,500 is of 500,000.
Percent.
It's such a tiny fraction of value here, and so yeah, very secure. Let's see, the one that's $8,100 here we're looking at. This property is, we have an address here on it. This one is zoned a little bit. Let's see what it is.
It says commercial.
Yeah, oh, that's in the millions.
Yeah, 11 million.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one's a little bit bigger tax lien at $8,500, but it's also placed against a more valuable property too.
One thing I'd want to look at this is go, and one thing we can see all of the information up here. We can see there's deed information, tax information. So if we did want to look into additional tax liens on the property or roll up, we could view the past tax bill. But what I'm interested in is the map. So once we get to any of these maps, what we're going to do is we're going to try to find the satellite image.
Oh, look at that. Is it a big parking lot?
Massive.
Yeah, that is a giant parking lot.
Is it by the airport or something? Just surrounding businesses? How are they filling that many cars?
That's a good question. That's not some kind of a car business or something there. I'm pretty sure those are cars.
Oh yeah, it's definitely cars.
Yeah, somebody is using this lot, and look how tightly they're packed in there. Yeah, they've got them.
Heard about all the fleet of I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyhow, either way, your money's highly secured.
For $8,000.
Yeah, for $8,000, they're not going to let their $20 million, commercial parking lot, end up being foreclosed on. So
In fact, it's at $8,000. It's probably a mistake because I'll bet the taxes. Look at view tax.
yeah, in other words, it could be a partial lien. Is what we're saying. The value on its high.
Yeah, look at the amount due.
Yeah.
229,000.
Yeah, taxes paid 229. So in other words, they're paying 229,000 in taxes every year, and the 8,000 was just the amount below. They just didn't quite pay it all off.
Yeah. So that is pretty interesting. So that is what we would consider a partial lien, or not necessarily a partial lien because it still has the same power, but it's not the full property tax lien.
Yeah, normally the lien amount is reflective of the property value. So you can almost use different liens, because they're all based on on the property's assessed value. But in this case, and when there's partial liens, the numbers just don't stand at all because because it's not reflective of full value. Yeah, that's a lot. And $230,000 a year in property taxes is a lot. In fact, that seems like a crazy amount for just a big parking lot. Maybe it's a super big parking lot, and that's why.
It's because they're looking at the assessed value.
Yeah.
The value is going to be in the land. They're going to do a property tax off it.
Yeah, my goodness.
Let's look at some more.
All right, let's see here. In Maricopa, or you want to look at somewhere else?
Let's go ahead and let's go up to the top and search from the very highest.
Oh yeah, let's see. Let's see what the biggest one is that's still active here.
One for 159,000.
Yeah, and one for 151. Let's see what they are. And
It's worth $8 million.
yeah,
I think it's a school.
Yeah, I think it is a school.
I'd think it'd have to be a private school.
Oh wow.
It's got a pool. It's not like the school I went to.
No, it's a modern school, it looks like. I don't think it's one that, I think it's one that's still being used.
I know, I bet it's private though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is a private school. No, it is very modern. And
got a track and everything.
yeah, even at 159,000, that is just a drop in the bucket compared to the value of that. So again, highly secured, investment there. In fact, let's see what this one is. This is the one for 151. The current owner is Walmart stores. This is a commercial parcel. Yeah, this is a Walmart.
Look at the map.
Yeah, or maybe just land owned by a Walmart. We'll see.
You usually don't let that kind of stuff slip.
What the heck, I wanted to stop pulling it up.
If it's struggling, it's all right.
I'm kind of interested now. Here, let me just.
You look down at the records further. And see if it's a structure.
This is the one right here. Discount store, storage garage, site improvement. Yeah. They just say no results.
Yeah, there's some issue going on. look at something else.
All right.
What is the pictometer?
Yeah, that should work. You know, the pictometry, is that what it says?
Whatever it was.
Oh, it's outside of the permitted
No,
area for that,
that's
so you
all right.
can't use it. I
Let's
think
look at
it's normally
something
like airplane images here, but
You know, go and flip it the other way and let's look at the cheapest and we'll go look at another county.
all right, let's see. There's gonna be some real cheap ones here.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, ugh, that's gonna take too long. Probably.
Yeah, don't worry about
My
it.
goodness. Yeah, so yeah, they have them down to just about.
Want to look like a $50 one or whatever, 100, but let's look at a different county.
All right, let's do that. So let me close these out real quick. All right. Now,
So,
yeah, where do we want to think of another place in Arizona, or do you want to look?
yeah, let's check another. Oh, I don't care.
What about? No, they don't.
Yeah,
have
not
theirs
now.
up
Go
yet.
go to Apache or.
Apache doesn't have theirs up yet.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, they do.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The only one that doesn't is the one that says open, opens on.
So let's see. Okay, so here we've got Apache County and some different type inventory here for 2020 tax year. Let me enlarge this a little bit.
Trying to remember what is located in Apache. Click on one of those first ones.
Let's see. So $1,300. Let's see what this is. Now.
Click log in to the left.
Oh, there we go.
Basic record though. We have an address. We don't have an address on this, do we? We're gonna have to look at the map.
That one's not working. I don't think. Let's see.
It's not pulling up.
At least not there. It's like, it's like it's. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird how I can't really get the map to work.
Huh. Well, let's go look at a different county then. I don't want to waste any time worrying about it.
All right, so let's jump over here.
The one below it, Constantino, or I didn't want to have to say the name.
Oh, Coconino?
Coconino, yeah.
All right, let's see here. Coconino. So let's look at a few of these. Here we have $3,500 lien. Let's see what it is. And let's see, limited property value 427, full cash value 515. I wish you could see.
Yeah, I'll click on like parcel detail or some of those account summaries. Sometimes they'll pull up some additional information. .23 acre. Seats in Flagstaff. Oh, there's the GIS right up at the top.
Oh, there we go. Let's see what this is. So for 3,500 though, we would like, if we're going to buy it as a lien, we would want it to be against a property that's valued at least 150,000, probably.
Yeah.
For
that might have just pulled us up on it, and not pulled up the actual.
We'll just use the parcel ID then and start plugging them in. So.
Go ahead and pull up the base map gallery and look for imagery in this case.
And here we can see, yeah, it's a single family home.
Oh, there's the address.
Yeah. Yeah, there, yeah, 404. We can also see it's owner occupied.
Yeah.
I think it is. Wait, owner address. That's just the 911 address. Oh yeah, no, it is owner occupied.
Yeah, 911 address is the same as the site is,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
site.
So knowing that it's owner occupied, that's going to probably increase the chances that it's going to, end up in redemption.
Yeah, for sure.
Because somebody's going to be displaced to lose it. Whereas if it's owned by an investor, it's a little bit easier. But for 3,500 though, just knowing it's a single family home, it would probably work.
Carl has a question. What factors do you guys consider in determining which state to buy liens? And we really kind of take an opportunity-based approach where we are looking at opportunities in any state. Really, when it comes to tax liens, chances are most of the time you're going to go ahead and get paid off. Now, if you buy enough tax liens, you're going to get property, but really we're looking for the best rates. So, whether that be in a particular state, whether that be through an online auction, we're really just looking for any opportunity that we can participate in where we can get those kind of opportunities. And sometimes you can get better opportunities even within the own state. So here within Arizona, there's going to be some counties here within Arizona that are going to have less competition than other counties.
Yeah. Yep.
So we're looking at a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath here.
Yeah. In fact, so at 3,500 though, we go to look at the value on it, and it has actually, on Zillow they have interior images of it up, and we can see it's valued, over 750, 766, and so the 3,500 represents basically it's 0.5%.
Yeah, a small fraction.
Yeah, that's what the lien represents, is 0.5% of the property's estimated value. So that's such a tiny amount when you're buying a lien that is going to hold the entire property, hostage if it doesn't get paid off.
Yeah, for sure.
That tiny, a $3,500 lien could still result in the foreclosure of the property if it doesn't get paid off. But most of the time they do get paid off, and that's why they work so well. Okay, let's see here. And yeah, let's look at a small one here. So $173.
Well, and that can kind of go along with one of the questions that we have is how to determine if the land itself is valuable. Well, if we're looking at just a building lot itself, the assessed value is going to give us an indication. But really what we're looking for when it comes to land is that it has both use and value. So we're not going to buy liens on any type of, like a small strip of land or junk property. If it's a building lot, it has to be a usable building lot. And it also has to have value.
You know what, I just need to grab the number. That's going to be an easier way to do that. And to pull that up again. Let's see. So this one, really, this is the one for $150.
Yeah. So here would be a good example.
It's a single family home still.
Oh yeah.
That's
I thought it was a lot.
Whoops. $126. Let's see if that's, yeah, look at that, 150,000. These are probably partial liens. I can't imagine that, that they owed, that was a full bill for anything. So yeah, these are really just kind of partial liens, even when we're looking at the smallest ones here. There's $81. Let me see what that is. Now here's a property that has lower value. $2,000 it says.
Look at the map.
Yeah, let me grab the.
So we'll see, what the property is. And
yeah, see if we can show you what what a junk property would look like. Sometimes they can be hard to find.
Sometimes they can be easy to find.
There was, well, it's not totally junk. It's kind of big. At least it looks big enough that
It's right by the freeway.
yeah.
It's to have road access though.
It's 0.74 acre.
It's landlocked.
I guess it is. Yeah, it is kind of.
And it's downhill too. I'll bet that goes down a hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's landlocked. It's just hill, useless. You can't build on it or anything.
Yeah. So with this one, which it probably is not usable, that's why they've given it a low value, of $2,000. So this lien amount. So it really, what would make this a bad lien is that it may not be worth redeeming. And what could happen is if we were to look at the property, and we could find out maybe there are a bunch of other liens against the property. So this lien may only be for $80 or $70, but it's going to grow. And what if there are 10 other liens against it? It's just not worth it to foreclose.
Well, and even then, the property doesn't have a high value and it doesn't have any use. And if it doesn't have a high value and high use, it's something we're going to go ahead and avoid.
Let's see here. So let's see, do you do installments for your mentor? Yes, we do that. Well, I guess we have before. I don't know. You have to talk. Best thing to do if you're interested in the mentoring is probably join the membership program first.
Yeah.
And then from there, we do one-on-one interviews, breakdowns to help you kind of figure out exactly what it is you want to accomplish and game plan out what you're going to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So that would be a good place to start, anyways. Is with one of those one-on-ones. Let's see, another one here is does Atlanta, Georgia have a tax lien auction? So Georgia
is a redemption deed state. And in fact, within our YouTube videos, we have a few months ago, we did one of these webinars on redemption deeds. And so you can actually go back in our YouTube videos and find that video where we kind of go over and talk about exactly how Georgia works. But it's similar to Texas, what we consider to be a redemption deed state.
Yeah, which basically means you're kind of like buying the property, like a deed, but you don't have the power to sell it for a set time after.
Yeah.
So anyhow, let's see the other questions here. Do you know which county has less competition? That's hard to predict. As far as which ones, when you're dealing with the online auctions, it's hard to predict. It's hard to predict sometimes with the live auctions.
Yeah,
too, but a live auction is always a better bet.
Sometimes you can look into the past years, but like Shade said, it's really just kind of luck of the draw sometimes, and that's part of the reason why we recommended earlier, if you had $10,000 to invest, then we would go ahead and put that $10,000 or put deposits in 2 or 3 different auctions so that we spread our ability out. If bidding is higher in one auction, we can go ahead and put a little bit more deposit down in maybe one of the other auctions and try to bid within that auction.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Another question is, from your experience, tax liens on properties owned by a business or LLC are not subject to additional liens like federal liens. So I think what you're asking there, if the liens, so the property itself, that the lien is placed against, could it have other liens placed against it? Yes, it could have other liens, but if we're investing in liens for it, we're not really concerned about if the property has other liens, just because it's going to end up redeeming most likely, and so that won't really ever end up being a concern for us. But it could have federal liens against it, because those are other, that's just really another type of government issued lien that has a similar type of power, to foreclose on properties. So we're not worried about other liens so much, though, when we're buying tax liens.
Yeah, another question is, how do you determine if I should invest in individual or as an LLC? That's really going to determine how much capital, how much money you're going to be putting into it. When we got started, we were buying a couple of tax liens. So, we just went ahead and put them in our own name. But as your business gets, bigger, as you start investing more capital, it can make more sense to go ahead and set up your, up within a business at that time. But usually, your accountant kind of let you know when that's going to be right.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you have any videos, instructions on how to buy over the counter in Florida? Yes, we do. Yeah, we have done videos on that before. Now, another one is when you're a new investor, should we stay within our own state? In fact, in most cases, that was one of the reasons why we started looking elsewhere when we first learned about tax liens and deeds. We were learning about tax liens, and we were trying to figure our own area out, which was a tax deed state, and all of the auctions were held on almost the same date, during the year, and so we could maybe attend a live sale, but then the rest of the year there wasn't very much to do. So we started looking in other places, so it may not be an option for you to invest in your own, in your own area. If they have liens though, then that might be something worth taking advantage of, especially if there's live auctions, happening where they sell the liens off, then it can be worth it attending those.
And another question is it best to buy after the auction because the interest rates are higher? Is that correct? Well, to be honest with you, it can really depend on the auction because you might not have an opportunity to bid on tax liens because they do get sold at the auction. Now that can be the case of maybe some over the counter, but if you can earn, if the tax lien is going to be available over the counter, there's a chance it could go ahead and get purchased at that sale at an 18% interest rate or whatever the state high is. So, it could make a lot of sense to go ahead and participate in some type of online auctions because it's not going to cost you anything. You're going to get your deposit back, and it's going to give you a chance to bid on different tax lien certificates that are coming up for sale.
Yeah. So, yeah, to give you an idea, California is actually a tax deed state. Meaning, what the difference is between tax deed states is they don't sell their liens publicly if they have liens. They basically wait out a redemption period, before the county will foreclose on the properties. So, in Utah, for instance, it's 5 years. That they can have delinquent property taxes stacking up before the county has the ability to foreclose on the property. And that's the way it is with the other deed states that we have. We have the lien states that are listed here in green, and then there's also, in blue are the states that have, some of the states that have tax liens and tax deeds that are used.
Yeah, and in fact, let's go ahead and go back to the online auctions real quick, and we can look at some of the auctions that are coming up, with tax lien auctions. So, we had a question about Alabama. Alabama has their auctions coming up in May. And then, of course, we have several different Arizona auctions that are coming up right now. Let's scroll down further. Essentially, I want to show them New York, So we have also, all of Florida that's happening in May.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Florida stuff is, is going to happen here in May.
We had a question earlier about Indiana tax sales when they're coming up. Here are the 3 auctions that are scheduled right now, within St. Joseph, Henry, and Madison. I can't remember exactly which one you are asking, but those are the ones that were coming up right now. And as they get scheduled, we'll go ahead and post them here as soon as they get put on the auction block, so to speak.
Yeah, we've got Iowa stuff, a lot of that is in June. Let's see, Maryland has stuff that's starting to open.
And in fact, we have something that's starting in Maryland. St. Mary's County opens up within a few days, on the 3rd. Then we have some opening up in March. Nebraska is happening in March as well. But one thing that's interesting is this is the first time we've seen New York do an online auction.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can see here, similar style here. This is for Nassau County, New York. And yeah, they have about 8,000 liens total here that we're looking at, for all different amounts. So let's see, just pick out anyone. Here's a $5,000 one. Let's see what this is against. And it's against a commercial property. We can see here that's valued at over 800,000.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of interesting about a lot of the, New York, most of the counties are tax deeds, but there's a number of counties that will go ahead and issue tax liens, but most of the time they'll go ahead and sell them to one investor. So this is kind of new where they're offering these New York tax liens to any investor who bids on them, and there's still time to register for this sale.
Yeah, I think TBA is short for to be announced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here it looks like a pretty good taxing certificate on some type of commercial building. Has what's the value of it?
813,000.
Yeah, so a $3,000 tax lien is pretty well protected.
Yeah, 5,000. That's right.
5,000.
Yeah, but with that kind of value, it doesn't really make it's so secure either way. And also for smaller liens, so $800 lien. Let's see what this is. Now this one could be, then it's still against, it still has a value of 154,000, whatever this is.
Well, we could see that it's definitely some type of, or could be some type of piece of land. From here, what we really want to look at it is the map, and so we're going to go to the top there, underneath area maps, right below. You just went underneath it, right to the left.
Right there.
So essentially, it's just kind of a building lot, nothing necessarily special, but still has a high value.
Yeah, it's probably a usable.
Yeah, you can see the house right there to the left of that one.
Yeah. My guess would be that it's usable. Valued at 154 according to the county. So probably, but either way, it was a smaller $800 lien, and so.
Well, I saw one that wasn't usable, and it had no value.
Oh, really?
So it kind of made me think that one, a better chance it is usable.
Let's see, this is a $400 lien. Just gonna see if I can find some junk lien here. So this one is, against a property that's valued at 12,000. So you can see how the bid to value ratio is still low, but it's at a higher percentage there than it is with a lot of the other properties we've been looking at.
Yeah, well, we're just looking at other lots that was valued at 150. Let's look at this property and see is it buildable or not, because I'm kind of wondering if it's a side lot.
Yeah.
Because compared to the other property that was worth 120.
Yeah, it would explain why they didn't assign it a full value.
It's actually bigger than I thought it would be, but it's got part of the garage, like a shed and part of their house on it.
Yeah, it's like they split their lot, their house up over 2 lots.
Which means that most likely they're going to pay that off before losing it, but it does, it's not necessarily the most prime property because it has problems with it. The fact that the property is, part way on the property.
Yeah. Interesting, in Milton County, New York, Orange County, they have a company that buys all the liens, and then the company goes after the delinquent taxpayers. Yeah, in some places, actually, for instance, like in Manhattan, when the county would hold sales, they wouldn't be public sales. They would be really more like private sales, where they would just offer them to a single buyer. That would buy a whole portfolio.
Really, just it was an auction, but an auction of hedge funds.
Yeah.
And billionaires that would essentially be able to usually do some type of sealed bid.
Yeah. Let's see what the biggest one here is that's active. Oh, there's a $500,000 one. Let's see what that is.
But really kind of the key with tax lien certificate investing is, as long as we look into the tax lien, make sure the property has value, has use, then the most important thing for us is our interest rate. And one thing we'll see a lot of times is let's say there's a $100,000 home and a $100,000 piece of land. That $100,000 home is going to get a lot more competition, and it may bid down to 3%, where we can get that $100,000 home at 14%. We're going to go with that piece of land. I mean, that piece of land at 14%. We're going to go with that piece of land every single time.
Yeah, especially when it comes to liens, because it's most likely going to redeem anyway.
Yeah, we're not going to own it anyway, most likely.
Well, and if either one of them were to potentially go to foreclosure, you've got a much better chance of acquiring the piece of land than you do the home. Because land is more likely to be owned outright and owned by a single individual. And so part of what happens is when the property goes through foreclosure, they send out foreclosure notices, but they just don't go out to anybody other than the primary party that's already not paying it.
Yeah, so kind of a strategy that we kind of employ when we're looking at an online auction like this is we're really just looking at, the very best interest rate. So as long as the property has use and value, then we really don't care what the property is. We're just looking for the best interest rate. So let's say it's $30,000 lots, but we can get them at the state rate. Let's say the state rate is 16%, like Arizona. We're going to get as many of those $30,000 lots earning 16% versus bidding down, a $100,000 home, earning, 2 or 4 or 3%.
Yeah. For instance, this one right here, the biggest one they've got, the $500,000 one, is still placed against this giant business. This giant business here that's valued at $6.5 million or $7 million or something like that. So they're all, all of these are going to end up being good investments. Let's see what that is for. 160,000. Another.
What is the redemption period? I think it's 2 years, but I would have to look to make sure. It could be longer than that, since they've always been only marketed to the ultra wealthy.
Yeah,
we haven't really ever worried too much about it. I know we have it within our
normally guide. All we can get from New York are deeds, are the tax deeds, to acquire property. So we haven't looked at liens in New York before. It's the first time I've ever looked at liens in New York.
I know we have it within our redemption guide, but I think it's within our state guide, but I think it's 2 years.
Yeah,
it could be longer though. It could be 3.
That's another big giant, highly valuable property there.
What is that? That looks like a convention center or something.
Yeah, I think it probably is something like that.
Where's the address?
Right there.
I'm interested to look at it.
Oh,
no,
wow.
It's right on the water.
Oh, wow.
Is it a house?
Is it a house? It looks like a house. Like the. All right, look.
It'd be a crazy, architect.
I mean, the way.
Scroll out a bit, because there's not like parking for like a huge.
Yeah, no.
It is a house.
It's like a residence.
Yeah. Pull up. Let's look it up on Zillow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is a house. I totally thought it was like a.
Yeah,
like a convention building.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a commercial place. Oh, look at that. $7 million here. So this is like $160,000 lien that we were looking at here. I'll pull it back up. But yeah, we've got interior images of this property from when it was listed. Or maybe it's currently listed now.
No, it's not currently.
Yeah, it is.
It's quite the property.
Yes, it is. Wow.
Yeah, it is cool.
So let's see.
We said earlier that you can see every type of property you can imagine. We have seen every type of property we can imagine. I mean, we've seen huge commercial properties, $1 million mansions, to just regular building lots. And all of them are going to be good tax liens to purchase. It's really just going to be, about making sure that it has that use, has that value, and that we're getting an interest rate return that's acceptable to us.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that we do keep in mind, or at least that we consider, is what the total roll up on the property could be, and this can vary a bit depending on which state we are investing in. So for instance, in New York, I don't remember if it is a 3-year redemption period or 2. Let's say it's a 3-year redemption period. If it's a 3-year redemption period and I am, looking at other liens, I know that there is, that there's going to be a minimum of 3 years worth of delinquent taxes, total, right? But in some places, like for instance in Arizona, and in Florida, they allow many more liens, to accrue. So in Florida, it's a maximum of 7 years.
Yeah.
In Arizona, though, it's 15.
Yeah.
15 years. So you can see that with 15 years, there's a lot more potential roll up to worry about. So it's not a problem that is the same everywhere.
Well, and roll up usually tends to be on properties that, have some type of risk to begin with. Otherwise, why hasn't somebody foreclosed on it? So you can see it within cheap land in real cheap land within Arizona. You can see it within cheap land in Florida.
Oh yeah, it is 3 years, because here we can see, the 3 years here.
Yeah.
And this property itself has about 52,000 a year in taxes, that are owed.
Usually they'd be doing a tax lien sale every year. That's what I'm kind of wondering, is how they've set it up with here. Are you paying 1 year worth of taxes, or?
They combined all of these, I think, into a single lien.
Huh.
So open tax lien total there.
Oh, they sold.
Yeah, these are past liens that have been.
Yeah, they sold 2 other liens. So really, this one that was sold before in 2018 can start probably foreclosing.
Yeah, that one probably is eligible to start foreclosing. Yeah, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's a 3-year redemption period on tax liens in New York. And so, yeah, we can see that here with some of the properties they have. We've got a total of 3 years worth of delinquent taxes. And like Steve was saying, with this lien right here, so this was for the 2017 billing year, it was purchased on February 20th of 2018. They're probably eligible, to redeem. In fact, they may have been eligible for more than 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing on that 3 years, but I can see here the reason why I'm saying that it's 3 years is because it seems like I think it's 3 years. It's either 2 or 3 years, but I think it's 3 years.
New York's not really a state that has been open until now.
Yeah, it's a deed state, really.
Yeah.
But now if they do this, they'll be kind of a state that has both liens and deeds.
Yeah. So there's definitely some opportunity, within here. Really, if you have an interest to learn more, you should definitely check out our membership program. That's going to give you access to all of our list with our auction calendar, all of our online list. We have our over-the-counter database. So we've just kind of looked at, it's just some of the online tax lien auctions. There's tons of tax deed auctions. There's redemption deed auctions. There's over-the-counter list with all of those. Plus, we have also all of our on-site auctions, which will be included within the auction calendar as well. So not only do we offer all of the list and to keep you informed about all of these auctions that are coming up, but we also do, it's going to provide a lot of training as well.
Yeah. We also do weekly webinar trainings, live ones with members every week, and we've got years worth of trainings, back trainings that you can watch. Yeah, in addition to that, though, part of it's just about trying to stay informed about what's happening with tax sales. So yeah, you can enroll in the membership program right here. In fact,
To the left.
right there, under membership at $39 a month. And it's also something you can cancel at any time. The whole reason we created it was so it would be an affordable option for people that were looking for lists and we're looking for training. And we think it is.
Yeah.
You can spend a lot of money out there if you want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to provide an affordable program. In fact, when me and Shade worked with the seminar companies for about a decade, what we did is we provided our home study program, which was our books. We had about 3 books that consisted to about 1,000 pages, or 5 books, excuse me. And they would do that with CDs, and they would sell our home study program for thousands of dollars, which essentially included kind of our membership program. And what we decided to do is we kind of got tired of dealing with the seminar companies, and we decided that, hey, let's just offer our membership program online, where instead of people have to pay thousands of dollars in fancy books, they can just download the information, they can watch it online, they can get access to our list. And so that's why we started tax sale support in 2015, 2016, and moved away from the seminar companies, is because we wanted to offer a more affordable option and a training option for students that are interested in learning how to invest in tax liens and tax deeds.
Yeah, so if you're not a member yet, we encourage you to sign up. It's a no-brainer. And not only that, but you can basically cancel at any time. So there's no real risk that is.
Yeah, we'll have students that will go ahead and use us in the beginning to kind of figure out how it works, and then we have some students that'll come back to us. Really, that's kind of the advantage of it the program is that you can use it as needed. Also, we in the email we went ahead and said that we're going to be sending you guys out our ebook bonus package. We'll be doing that tomorrow, also with a link to register for strategy calls for anyone that is interested that attended the webinar. So we'll be getting that information out to you guys tomorrow, with also a replay link, so you can go ahead and rewatch this training if you guys have any questions. And if you are interested, our membership program, it really is a low risk option. You can try it out, see if it is something for you. If it's not, then no harm, no foul. But we do think that we provide the most information, the best bang for the buck, so to speak.
Yeah, easily, no doubt about it. And if tax liens are what you're after, now is a good time to get involved and to get started, because this is right now is when tax lien season is just starting off. There's going to be so many different tax lien sales that are happening. Online auctions, live auctions. You can participate in. If property is what you're after, all of the tax sales with tax deed auctions are going to be also ramping up here within the next 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, in fact, we just added today probably 20 more tax deed online auctions that are coming up with dates and times just today. So there's a ton of opportunity out there. And really, with the pandemic, there's been certain areas that have held back their inventory. So we really think it's going to be a great time for our members and for us to go out there and be able to do some good real estate deals. Also, one thing to mention quickly before we go is we are going to be conducting some 3-day trainings over this next year. If you're interested in coming out, it's a pretty affordable option as far as 3-day trainings go. Let us know. I think our next one's going to be Florida, but we're going to be out throughout the country over the next year or so.
Yeah, I think we'll be in Florida sometime here in April. But also, we're going to be doing multiple buying tours, this year as well. Which last year, we did a buying tour out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and had a group of our coaching students there that we went through the auction with, and it was awesome. In fact, we want to do more of them, this year, with different groups, because it was a good experience all around to spend the time with the students. But it was also, the auction took place over 4 days, and it was a live sale, in person. So, we ended up, sitting there witnessing tons of craziness, with the auction, but we also ended up getting some good deals.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate you guys, sticking through with us. We'll go ahead and get the replay out, also that ebook bundle download, and let us know if you have any questions. And hopefully, we'll see some of you guys on the membership program with our weekly webinars.
Yeah, in fact, yeah. If anybody wants to enroll tonight in membership, we'll be sure to have your accounts all set up here and ready to go tonight. So, yeah. Go ahead and enroll, and we'll get it set up. If not, we'll have more of these webinars. I'm sure we'll be doing another one here a month or two down the road.
Yeah, that's part of what one of the reasons why we've been offering free training, going back 20 years, but really, since 2007 even, was that we know we provide a good value to our members. And so if we can provide even a good free program, whether that be through videos, through webinars, through ebooks, then eventually people will be interested in our membership and give us a chance to prove our worth through our membership program as well.
It's $39 a month. $39.95 a month is the fee there on the membership, but it's also you can cancel it at any time, so there's no obligation.
That's the month to month. If you do a year up front, it's $29.95. So kind of depending on how you'd like to do it.
Yeah, but thank you guys. You guys have been awesome sticking with us here through the whole time. We know some of you are already members, and so we'd love to have you here. And thank you. Our members, we love our members. Our members are so great, and we enjoy finding the deals for them and trying to help them go out there and have some success with this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, have a great night, and good luck here with your investing.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone.